Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Saturday of the SPL, Week 5, the final week here. We have Cognitive Gaming getting ready to take on Denial Esports, and this is going to be pretty good matchup here. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. Speaking of Cognitive, we're going to go ahead and recommend that you pick up the Cognitive Scylla skin. It's honestly amazing. It's really cool. It's modeled after MLC Stealth, so it's modeled after the World Championship team, not the current Cognitive Gaming. Now they're known as Cloud9, but it says MLC on the back. The dogs that come out, the dog tags are all members of currently Cloud9. Definitely a cool skin, and with each purchase of it, $1 goes towards a LAN called the Cog Invitational. Yep. Now we're going to go ahead and switch our view over to the standings here in North America. Team Solo Mid have secured a place at the LAN. As you can see, Cloud9 and AFK, they face off tomorrow. The winner will be going to LAN. So I mean, you saw that our ad for tomorrow's game. The do or die? Yeah, those two teams in yellow. I've been saying it all week. One team will come to LAN. The other team will just watch it on Twitch like the rest of us. That's actually the story. Yeah, it is the biggest game of Split 1, so definitely an interesting thing to look at. But that's tomorrow. For today, we got Cog versus Denial. Let's take a look at Cog. Yep, Cog here. Really, I always kind of tend to watch Meerkat and Jigs on this team for some reason. They seem to be the ones that I gravitate to no matter what the game is. Now, keep in mind, the big story here in this matchup isn't the fact that these teams can go to LAN, because we already touched on that, but the loser of this match will have to get relegated. So they will not have a guaranteed spot going in to Split 2. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Denial Esports. They beat TSM in a series, but they find themselves unable to make the LAN. Absolutely heartbreaking. Shing getting rotated out from Team Dignitas last year. He was a solo laner. Now he's back in his jungle role. But the two guys you got to look at on this team, if you ask me, are ShadowQ and the Best. ShadowQ and the Best, definitely. They've been playing together for a long time. You mentioned that Shing was on Dignitas and then, had left for whatever reason. ShadowQ and the Best were a member of Team Dignitas for almost double the length that Shing was on that team for such an incredibly long time. Really, really have that synergy down. They're good friends out of the game as well. So ShadowQ and the Best definitely bring the noise when it comes to Denial Esports. Yep. So before we get into this one, Dot, let me ask you, Denial or Cognitive, who you taking, man? Why couldn't you ask me about Trig and Stars? This one's a little bit more difficult, man. I mean, the stats, honestly, are cut down the middle. I don't know. How about you? Oh, my God. You're such a... All right, you know what? I'm going to go Denial. You're scared. Scared so you're scared. Of course it's Denial. I'm going Denial. Okay. I think they're all going to be really good games, though. So the main thing about Cognitive Gaming here is that they go toe-to-toe with every team in regards of objectives and early game. They do that amazing. But as soon as it comes to team fights, they just seem to be a little bit off sync, and they not necessarily lack the individual skill. It just seems like they lack the individual priority. Like they don't know who they should prioritize without the comms. Okay. I do like that. I like that. I see where you're coming from. Both of these teams sort of have team fight problems. And I think that goes on both of these teams. I love the ban on Sylvanas from Cognitive Gaming. This is by far ShadowQ's best character. ShadowQ is a premier Sylvanas. Not only is Sylvanas ShadowQ's best character, arguably, but ShadowQ is also one of the better Sylvanases in the league. 4 games played, all 4 have been wins with him on Sylvanas. And Cognitive Gaming hasn't won with Sylvanas too much, so have to ban it, can't pick it. Sylvanas taken out, as well as Athena, Hun Bats, and Sercat. So a little bit of a mix. Sometimes we see pretty much all jungler bans. Sometimes we see all assassin bans. But this time it's a little bit of both here, as Thor will be going to Shing. The first pick option over here to Cognitive Gaming. Now, it's also important to note that Cognitive Gaming actually does scrim versus TSM and Cloud9. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Sobek solo coming out of them. But that is going to free up Bellona. So, of course, you're going to grab Bellona. Thor picked over Bellona. I like the Thor pick, especially when you have a competent jungler like Shing. I think Thor is just one of the better characters, really able to bring power and control. But Bellona, so powerful, and not only is she powerful, Scott, but she also has the benefit that all new characters have, which is lack of reps. Yeah. You've played against Thor since 2012. You haven't really played against Bellona much. Yeah. So just that lack of time being available definitely makes it a little bit more difficult to deal with. Isis, no shocker here, coming out for the Nile. They're going to grab that. That's going to be going right into the mid lane here. So now their final pick here, Anhur still on the table. They could be looking to go for that, but instead they're going to grab Bacchus. Bacchus, he got the buff in week 3, and he's been in a lot more games ever since.
Bacchus' ability, what happens is his chug has increased the amount, his Bacchus-o-meter, his drunk-o-meter increases per use of it. So that's going to be a big boon. He'll be able to stun more often. That's probably the biggest direct impact of that buff. Poseidon picked up for Cognitive Gaming.
Both of these teams have great lineups so far. I mean, Poseidon mixed with Gambit and mid-Harpies is going to do fantastic. Bacchus, Isis, and Thor, that's great mid-Harpy control as well. And really, Thor is perfect for Denial because Denial is all about early invades. Oh, yeah. They love it. They look for the cheese every single time. They just want to send Xing in there and try to get an early pick. And to be honest, it does work out for them. So Cupid gone, as well as Bastet taking out that jungler. And now we will be seeing a Hunter get picked here, which will be Anhur.
Anhur, such a clean pick. Anhur is sort of just above the other hunters right now. You have Xbalanque and Ram have really been the characters to look at, and clearing the wave is a chore for them. Anhur, use and pale.
His stats just don't show it, though. His stats just don't show it so far in the SPL.
Well, it's only been a week or two, if I'm not mistaken. It's been about 2 weeks since Anhur's gotten that buff, so it hasn't been the entire split.
Well. Sobek in the solo lane
Xing jungle Bacchus.
Yet again. No,
just kidding.
Come on.
I'm just kidding.
Come on now.
There's a famous video of Xing playing Bacchus. I'll show you later. It's been tossed around the Smite community forever. Like, Xing just can't play Bacchus, and he just gets stomped. So we won't be seeing Bacchus on the jungler this time around. Is it a Sobek solo or a Bacchus solo? That is the real question.
It's Sobek.
Sobek solo?
Sobek solo right now can... A direct quote would be that Sobek can shut down just about everyone in the solo lane.
Direct quote from who?
Divi. The Divios. He loves it. He loves it.
Divios. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Divios definitely one of the more talented solo laners.
It's really just because Sobek just shuts you down from doing anything. He's just annoying. Yeah. You're not going to look to aggress.
You can't get too close to the tower.
He's just going to hand the archers, fling you over his shoulder, throw you into his creeps, and it's going to be rather annoying. Now, what the big thing here is Mask as Chaac. Chaac will do a lot of damage early on. And then as the game goes on, it seems like you can do about 30% of people's health and silence people, and that's it.
Yeah,
Sobek doesn't have that problem. Sobek's just like, I'm just going to zone people out.
Chaac's a big initiator, okay? So seeing Chaac in the jungle is definitely something that we don't see very often because he's not that burst character that we normally see. Again, here's Denial grouped up. Chaac is going to look to start fights and hope his teammates can finish. Like you said, he's going to do a chunk of HP, but his team needs to help.
So, best now, no one grabbing any points yet. Just waiting to see if there's anything. And Xing sporting the new Thor. My God, does that look beautiful in game.
I do.
Look at that.
Skin. That is a cool skin.
This is exactly how I imagine Thor would look. Like, if Thor was real, not that Marvel crap, even though I love the movies, right?
All right.
But not that metal. I'm saying he's got just shoulder pads, and he's just got lightning everywhere.
Just Viking dude that controls the lightning.
Yeah.
Lightning Viking just coming through. Yeah, man.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, man.
And he's got, like, the mentality of Brad Pitt from Fight Club.
Oh, yeah. Just hit me.
Yeah. He just wants to fight.
All the time.
Yeah.
Big old hammer on the side of Thor as well. Chaac playing the Bacchus. He's going to get the jump up and a beautiful stun coming out from Isis as well. This might be curtains, but a Poseidon Whirlpool will stop really the back line from aggressing. Bacchus was up there, but Xbalanque couldn't make it, and they're going to go ahead and take these back harps and the rest of the jungle.
They're onto the red now. Herwin's going to watch his red buff get taken. He's going to try to throw down the Whirlpool just at the last second, trying to stop him, but the hand will come down from ShadowQ, and they will be rewarded with that red buff. So, Herwin's going to be a little bit behind here. Nothing too crazy in the matchup. Isis doesn't have a red buff either. She actually didn't pick that up back there because it would have put her in harm's way.
Both Isis and the Poseidon do have spectacular early clear. Wind Gust and Whirlpool for both of those characters really do work early on. So they'll have good clear despite not having red buffs on either of them.
Well.
Interesting point, though. Herwind, really known for being a player that you can put on tilt. So we'll see how much that'll affect his mental state.
Well, Meerkat, surprisingly enough, has started off with Heavy Hammer going up against the Sobek here, which I'm not sure if they will have kill potential. Famous Hate forced all the way out.
Oh.
Branching Bola's not picked up yet. He probably would have been able to take him out there, or at least done just a little bit more damage to Famous Hate. But he's had a tough time. He's still level 1 right now. As these archers will fall, he'll just hit level 2. Madman Mark and Shadowkey really controlling this lane thus far. But they do have to be careful. Mask is going to be rotating in. He's got the AoE, looking for it. He's going to get knocked up, and that's going to keep him alive.
Yeah, it's just a spacing. I like that gank. You don't always need to get a kill for the gank to work. He pushes out the enemy from really barking down their own tower. So that's going to be good, and we'll secure a steal in the jungle.
Mace is just going to continue to harass Heroin here, just hitting him with the Spirit Ball. And now we're going to see Xing rotate. Now, Xing rotating out of here at 2 minutes. This is partly because he wanted to stay and leech the experience, but they also stole the blue buff of Cognitive Gaming. So he had a little bit of extra experience. He wasn't really needed to go into the middle and leech off of that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, he got his experience elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, while it's what we always say that when we start the game. We say, hey, it's a standard meta start. Everybody getting their spots. Expect to see them rotate towards the middle. Well, this is what happens when you don't have a standard meta start. You have an invade. No reason to join the middle lane.
Famous Hate with a perfect jump away there, dodging Shadowkey. Shadowkey on Bacchus. He's always going to be looking to aggress. As soon as this 7-second cooldown comes up, I wouldn't be surprised to see him rotate. But on top of that, mid-Harpies are coming up here at the 3-minute mark. That gives you the most experience of anything besides Gold Fury and Fire Giant. You always want to make sure you're controlling that. It's on a 3-minute timer as well, folks.
Mid-camp spawn right as that 3 minutes go down. Thor's up, looking for something. It's a satellite ult right there. Xing will engage, gets the stun onto the Geb. Geb very, very low. Will the Spirit Ball come? It does,
beautiful.
And it kills! Mace in the face gets the long-range shot. Heroin will turn it around, though, and pick up the kill on the Xing. So the quick first blood by Denial, turned around by Cognitive Gaming.
It's not done yet. Mask is waiting for the Axe Toss again. He got another kill there. And now he's going to hand that wave. He's going to help with Poseidon. Mace forced all the way out. Now, Mace actually did have his Windgusts going, but he actually got silenced by Mask. So he wasn't able to have those extra balls and extra movement speed to really help out his team, which, based on Mask's health, he probably would have been taken out if he didn't hit that silence on him. So that is a very, very big play coming out of Mask, who's 1-0-1. Got Poseidon online a little bit early as well at 1-0-1. Wouldn't be surprised to see this lost artifact get turned into a Doom Orb early on.
For sure.
The early kill that normally goes that way. Isis, starting off with the tiny trinket, probably will go into boots first, I would imagine.
I'd say so. Isis with that tiny trinket. The boots will give her the movement speed to really dodge stuff. Xbalanque ultimate going to come out. Stun with the flip. Love the interaction right there, but a quick ultimate from Bellona will allow her to be safe. So what happened right there? Charge Prey comes out, flips Bellona. She's incapable of stopping for that Xbalanque ult. We used to see that happen a lot with Bacchus. Bacchus would intoxicate. You can't stop moving. Xbalanque ult causes the stun. Great play right there. We're going to see that come out in the duo lane. Be on the lookout for that. But this time around, Sobek flips him in the air, gets a stun.
Xing looking to go for the aggressive route here and trying to steal the speed buff away from Cognitive Gaming. Unable to do so. Heroin looking to drop some Whirlpool just to kind of slow him down a bit. Best will come all the way over to the speed buff to make sure that Xing gets it. Very, very smart play coming out of them as Mace will shove this lane. Now, Poseidon and Isis are both very good at clearing waves.
Yes.
And they're both very good at having early game damage. Who do you give the advantage to, though?
I honestly give the advantage a little bit to Poseidon early game, because the burst damage is a lot more effective than control. The control will be more effective as teams start to look at objectives. You start to look at Gold Fury, you drop that circle of protection, all of a sudden that ultimate means a lot more. But early game, that Kraken is a little bit scarier.
Now, we didn't mention this, but so the Heavy Hammer pickup by Bellona and already level 3 teleport. She's been harassed a lot here, and he's just going to keep getting flipped back. Notice that we're actually seeing a Mark of the Vanguard start coming out of Sobek. This item is perfect in the solo lane if you're bringing a Guardian in there.
It's just going to make you even more tanky. The only item on it that has flat damage reduction, 5. Also, all hits will be reduced by 5. Looks like a fight's going on the left-hand side. Great knock-up into a Berserker Barrage from Xing. He gets the kill, but Anhur follows that up. 1 for 1 so far. There's another kill for the middle lane. Ultimate comes out from Xbalanque. Will he get the stun? No!
Oh.
And Chaac looks good.
Chaac barely dodging that one here. Madman Mark in between a rock and a hard place here. He's just going to get impaled out of this one. Mask still alive somehow. And Mace unable to get that kill. Mask with the hot plays. 2-0-2.
Wow.
Chaac Jungle, it's a thing, I guess.
Chaac Jungle, I mean, this is really where Chaac is going to make his presence be known. In this area of the game, sort of like pre-10 minutes and a little bit post-10 minutes, then he'll have to start to move towards a control-oriented game. We used to see Chaac Jungle a lot from DJ Pernicus, but his team would have assassins elsewhere, most notably the solo lane. This, without having that, you've got a Bellona in the solo lane. You're going to need some damage. You're going to need a lot of damage from your mid laner and your hunter.
So when you buy a heavy hammer, that says one thing. I want to get a kill pre-10 minutes. 7 minutes here, Bellona, all things told, has lost the trade pretty hard. And that's really just because the best can do this. He can zoner, and if Bellona ever gets kind of crazy, he can just toss him right back into the archers, guaranteeing him extra damage as well. It's a tough matchup, man. It really is. Bellona's main gimmick is that she can disarm. He doesn't give.
Sobek doesn't mind. Yeah. He won't be able to stack his passive.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. I don't want the hot dogs anyways. Get him out of here.
Hot dogs look great. I love that graphic, actually. I think it's a really good graphic, the passive for Sobek. So, I mean, realistically speaking, Sobek is just able to provide. He does this in the dual lane. And if you've ever played, Hunter or in that dual lane, you just can't get too close to this tower, otherwise you're going to get plucked onto it. And you're going to get chunked down by the objective. So, Sobek, when it comes to this area, just so controlling.
Xing really far behind Mask here. He's down one level that he just hit. Mask probably getting close to hit level 11 here as Xing will be splitting the back camps here, and Mask is just going to follow this, and he's just going to maybe look to get a steal here of one of the Harpies, but they're just going to shove this wave up and make sure that Denial is denied just more and more creep. So Denial's main game plan in every single time. Oh, wow, look at his health.
Mask returns the stun with the ultimate. He's got a silence of his own. He's down to about 50% HP. Xing going to go ahead and play it safe. Went up in the air looking for the aggression, but with his mid laner Isis down so low, really couldn't do it. And as you said, that's Gold Fury for Cognitive Gaming. They're going to go ahead and aggress on it. Here comes Shadowcue Belly Flop, a very good steal ability. Will knock up the opposing support. And just the threat of it, Scott, makes Cog walk away.
That just shows respect for the player there.
Oh,
they know Shadowcue's an amazing support player, so they don't want to risk it. Mace will go ahead and clear this one out there, dodging the axe of Chaac as well. So Gold Fury, it was started, has yet to be finished yet, as Best is still just controlling this lane completely. Meerkat can't really do anything.
Yeah, Best,
at all.
Best looking very good on the Sobek. Sort of the very popular pick these days. Zelia might have played it. I don't know who played it first in the SPL. I'm not going to lie. But we've seen it from Zelia. We've seen it from Divios. We've seen it from now Best. We see it from Toli on Team Eager in the Challenger Cup. I mean, this Sobek solo has really risen to a point of popularity.
Look at this chain stun coming out here on Mass. Mass forced to teleport. Best now choosing a different route. His team called out saying, nah, we don't want to fight this. Let's just try to get left Harpies here. As Cog was able to take that one. Kraken not online just yet. So Heroin doesn't have the big burst damage to really stop any team fight there or change it, and now it is online. So Gold Fury could happen. They did see one member back, but I think they're going to be okay with just kind of taking their buffs, man.
Heroin wants to go ahead and pick up his red. He'll drop that Poseidon pool, so sharing those camps very smartly.
Yeah. So Poseidon here, looking at it, he's got an uncommon sash. That's going to go directly into a Warlock sash. Some people love a Gem of Isolation, which has started off with the same thing, but no one rushes that item. That is not a thing.
Exactly. Warlock sash, we talked about it, 100 stacks. You got to stack up, so
you got to get it early.
Definitely an item you want to pick up early. Notice that ward. I love this ward placement by Heroin. You see this oftentimes. The ward behind the Gold Fury. So if you drop that sentry and you want to come in and be the opponent and take it out, you're going to go behind the Gold Fury itself, and that becomes a little bit more difficult.
Cog forced all the way out. Is Xing going to go for this?
No, he can't. Smart decision, Xing. too many people around to really risk that one.
This is just a awkward standoff. It's both teams are Cognitive is trying to get the Gold Fury, but every time they see Bacchus, they just say no. And they didn't see that Bacchus actually backed, so they still respect that fact. As Mask is now going to just kind of zone out the best he can and just really just try to annoy Denial.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that Cognitive Gaming is so afraid of Bacchus is one of the premier objective stealers. Bacchus was really in fashion when Jeff Hindla got known for stealing objectives, and a portion of that goes to the character. Watch right here. He's going to look for the stun. If he doesn't get it, he'll get the knock-up. Change that fact.
Whoa.
Ultimate's coming out from Cognitive Gaming. They do secure the Gold Fury, and they get a couple of kills.
Isis Ultimate still there as well. Meerkat forced out of this one. Madman Mark still pushing forward. Has one. Looking for a second one. He wants Mass. Mass now. One more auto attack will do it, and down he goes. Madman Mark gets the trip trap. Best gets another kill. Deicide. Was it worth?
Nope.
No.
Gold Fury goes the way of Cognitive Gaming, but...
Whoa. Is this real life?
Yes.
This is real life.
This is the best decision that Denial can make. With all 5 members down for Cognitive Gaming, Denial gets a free Fire Giant, just 12 and
well, not free
minutes?
because Shing just got destroyed by the Fire Giant. He wasn't able to dance. He comes back in for the time of the mud. They're getting to halfway right now. Geb's rolling in. I think they might be in trouble here. Finally now Shadow Q jumps in. They've lost a lot of health to this here. Jigs is going to walk in. The mud's going to come down.
By Best.
Best trying to zone here as well. And Fire Giant takes out the Best. Denial Esports has stolen the Fire Giant, but they've lost one. They're about to lose 2. Down goes Shadow Q.
They needed just a little bit more damage. Maybe a little bit more, well, maybe they just needed to do the PvE a little bit better, honestly. But that does leave 3 members on their team at 12 minutes with Fire Giant. That's huge. So is this ultimate from Thor. But he's going to land on nobody and just blink out of there with Mjolnir's attunement.
Yeah, he's gonna Mjolnir's right into a whirlpool, which is gonna cripple him a little bit. Looking for it here. He doesn't have the hammer up, so he can't hit the double tap as he's gonna be forced all the way out. Xbalanque comes in. He's already got 3 stacks. Looking for another one. Mace is gonna clean that one up though, and that is permanent damage onto his passive here. So Madman Mark in a great spot, 3-0-4.
I respect that play, honestly. It didn't work out for Cog at all. They lost it. Madman Mark got a kill. But I liked it. They were aggressive. They said, look, 3 members with Fire Giant. We can erase it if we dive this tower right now. I'm a Chaac. I can initiate. They had all the pieces. Unfortunately, Madman Mark able to take it down. So it didn't work out, but I actually really respect that play, Scott.
Yep.
I liked it.
Well, the Best has done great. He lost his tower here, but he's still going to be pushing up. Famous Hate. As we take a look at him, 1 and 2. He's got the short bow here. Dev Gloves finished, just trying to get his own purple buff. As you can see, Xbalanque is going to be pushing up. So, Famous Hate, he wasn't aggressive early on, and that's really what you need to do with Anhur when you go up against Xbalanque. So, Xbalanque right now, all things cold, kind of has the advantage here in this one-on-one matchup.
Bacchus looking to change that. Wants to make it a 2-on-1. Might jump over the wall. Depends on how this team is feeling. Do they think they can take it? And they do. They've got 2 behind the Anhur. Anhur's going to jump over the stun. Kraken comes out. Madman Mark gets 1 kill. They're still chasing Poseidon hidden under the tower. Here comes Bellona. That's going to be a huge buff for her and her teammates. Bola's coming out from the Xbalanque as well, but he finally retreats. Here comes the Bacchus.
Yep, Shadow Q there to help out. Mjolnir's is going to force them out, as well as Tectonic Rift. They weren't able to get...
Good D.
They weren't able to get the kills. In fact, they lost Famous Hate out of that one. So although it kind of looks like Cognitive Gaming won it, they actually lost it, and now they're going to be losing their Tier 1 tower. Shing going to start pressuring up as well. The minions have been shoved. They're now looking to go for this Tier 2.
Yeah, and with 5 members deep for Denial, this one should go the way of the blue team. Chaac here, looking for that beautiful silence. Gets 3. That's going to be a big one. Just enough for defense. They will not be able to take this, so that's what we're talking about. Chaac being the initiator. You land a 3-man silence. You can't do much besides basic attack. So that alone, 5 members deep. There were 5 people on that side of the map. Yeah. And Chaac silence was able to completely shut down the push.
Sobek going into a Warlock sash, as well as Boots of Magi, and now starting off with the breastplate. he is going to be very difficult. Famous Hate now catches a hammer, catches a Berserker Barrage in the face. Down he goes. Xing getting all sorts of active here. His best is going to rotate as well. Meerkat, he's going to get thrown backwards, gets tossed into a Spirit Ball as well. Wing Gust will be hurting him as well. Forced to ultimate out. Lurking in the water is going to be there. Best takes him down again. I think this is the first time we've ever seen kind of a damage-y-esque whatever Sobek.
Best playing really, really well tonight. We've said his name a number of times. Really turned it up. Very excited that the solo laner for Denial performing as well as he is. Speaking of which, I loved the play he made onto the Bellona. Bellona's that hammer ability, it does a point-blank AoE, then you jump up and land one more time with it as we see aggression onto the Chaac. Mask might not make it, but he does. Uses Taunt to get out of there. Sobek's Tail Whip interrupted that move.
Yeah.
Great attention to...
which is really tough about Bellona right now as well.
Okay.
When you play her, you want to use the two so much. You want to use the hammer. It's so satisfying. Like, you get Equable and Executioner, and you want to use it, but you always get interrupted in the middle. So you're kind of relying on the auto-attack chain, which the second swing on the auto-attack chain, unless you're ahead, never really seems worth it.
Yeah.
It's really all about the Shield Bash.
The Shield Bash is really how you survive late game as a Bellona, and you absorb those basic attacks with the passive. So that's what you want to look for right now. Initiation from Cognitive. They're on the defensive. Good ultimate coming out from Anhur. Will it chase? It does. Mask gets credit for that one. Down comes Thor. He's going to stun, turn, and burn. Madman Mark gets one kill. Mask gets another. That's a double kill. So a 2-for-2 trade for Cog and Denial.
But the difference is that they're a little bit healthier, and that's going to be Denial. They're going to try to take this Tier 1 tower. Gold Fury's not up for 4 minutes. They don't really have much to take besides the speed buff, which Xing is up. He knows when that speed buff's coming up. He's going to just turn right to that. Mace is going to go as well. And actually, Xing is actually dead, excuse me here, as the silence will come out. Spirit Ball is going to hit. Best is actually going to be caught by the pillar, but he does have the dash. So the pluck will be used on the defensive this time, which will save his life.
Retreating is Denial Esports at the moment. Looking very good, both of these teams. We've got a good matchup today here for you on the North American side of things. 13-8 read the kills as we're approaching the 19-minute mark in our contest. Denial Esports leading by about 3,000 gold, so they've got a lead, but they haven't really cemented their victory just yet. Still need to put in a little bit of work. Cognitive Gaming, they're looking pretty all right. Not really positive kill-death assist ratios right now, but the fights that have happened have looked pretty all right.
Now, one thing we never really talk about, just because it gets a little bit dicey, is if you look at the far left and the far right of your UI, you will see Sentry Wards coming out for Mace to the Face, Madman Mark, and ShadowQ just placed his. On the right side, Meerkat is the only one who has that Sentry Ward, and that's just because they're checking inventory. So they actually had to buy those due to the fact that Cognitive Gaming actually bought those Sentry Wards. So they now have the advantage. They know that they've placed 2 of those Sentry Wards, so vision will be in their control.
Always got to press tab when you're playing on a competitive level. 3 members for Denial on the right-hand side, only 2 for Cognitive. Thor's going to go up in the air. Cognitive coming back to support their team. Thor will land in the jungle. We'll talk about that fight in just a second. Great pluck into the stun, out of the stun, and now they're looking for some more. Bellona ultimate is down. That'll provide some protections, but they're still chasing. Tail Whip, Kraken, not enough.
Beats is going to keep Xing alive here. ShadowQ forced to hit the Chaac. Wind Gust is going to try to deter Mass just a bit. He's under half health. He's got the Rain Dance though. ShadowQ is still going to be lingering all the way on the far side though. We see as it is going to be Madman Mark shoving Famous Hate under his tower. He's 3 levels on him. He's also 1,500 gold ahead as well. Madman Mark, he wants this fight. He wants Famous Hate to just step out just a bit. Poseidon rotating as well. Whirlpool's going to hit. Just going to stop this one from happening here as Meerkat forced underneath his Tier 1 tower. He does have Teleport 3, so he can get back relatively fast here if it's not on cooldown.
You mentioned Cognitive Gaming sort of had the advantage with vision before just placing so many wards. This team is known for placing a lot of wards. Jigs actually leads all of North America in wards placed, but can't see anything right now when your opponent's right in the lane, aggressing onto their tower. Thor again is in the air, will land on the backside, looking for those red health bars, trying to bring him down, but Denial not putting out enough damage. Isis getting stunned out. There's the turnaround, and Shing with the Berserker Barrage will secure the kill.
Beautiful.
You're going nowhere with that pull. Bellona tries to ult out, but they will turn around. Denial going to focus their efforts on the tower here, take the objective, and the solo lane tower goes down.
Shing now just going to try to shove this. He's going to go ahead and head back. He's got a Magi's Blessing finish. He's got a Jotuns. He can go into a Shifters. He can go into a Transcendence. We've seen multiple different builds coming out of the Thors these days. Last year was pretty cut and dry. It was Jotuns into Shifters, into Titans, into Magi's. That's it. Or, you know, Magi's before Titans, however the order is. This year we're seeing a lot of deviation. Some people prefer the Shifters. Other people prefer the Transcendence. Now, with Transcendence, you're going to get a huge power spike as soon as you get it finished. So, I like the play. He's 4-3-8. He's been very, very active. Have at it, man. Now, as well, Sobek actually getting ready to go into a Void Stone. Do you like it?
I do like it because Sobek, as we mentioned, he's not really going to be able to provide a lot of damage. Hold that thought. Ultimate's coming out. A little bit wasted right there. But Sobek will do some damage, but the Void Stone will help his team as well. So a good player to put that on as we see the Siege coming out in the middle lane.
Well, Shing's in a one-on-one with
Quick
Meerkat.
tower.
And now they're still looking for it. They want this fight to happen. Fire Giant is up. They've already taken one. They've split Gold Furies. Gold Fury's up as well. They're just going to try to force this. They have such an experience lead that they know Cognitive Gaming toe-to-toe. They can't beat them unless the Kraken and everything is perfect.
And the Kraken is low damage. We have an Ethereal Staff on our Poseidon, so not a huge damage spike coming out from the mid laner for Cognitive Gaming. That Ethereal Staff is, it's a hybrid item. It does both offensive defense, but much more defensive than offensive. If you're new to this item, think about it as Warlock Sash light. It will be more powerful than a Warlock Sash without any stacks, but if you had given the time to stack that up, it'll pale in comparison.
Shadow Q forced to stun out. Just Mass. Best trying to zone. Fire Giant still happening here. Jigs now trying to run away. Jigs, his health is just going to drop. Stone Shield keeps him alive a bit, but not too long. Best now still chasing. Kraken hits him in the face, but it didn't do much. Madman Mark gets one. He gets two. Looking for the triple. Best is able to take that one. Down goes another member of Cognitive. Triple kill for Madman Mark. Fire Giant is theirs as well. 4 members down for Cognitive Gaming. They can't stop this one. Denial doesn't want to go to relegations.
Now, this one is a free Fire Giant. 10 minutes later, they'll have a little bit more damage. Shadow Q tanking right now, getting a little low, but not low enough to die. They take the Fire Giant, and all 5 of them stay alive. So that's going to be a good look for
Look at Madman Mark.
Esports.
Look at Madman Mark. Madman Mark goes, okay, you know what? I only have to deal with Anhur. And to be honest, I've been bullying him for 24 minutes. I hope Anhur steps to me. I'm going to steal this speed buff. I love the confidence that we're seeing out of players now. When they know they have an advantage, they are always shoving it in their opposition.
Dash coming out from the Sobek just to get in lane a little bit faster. Best playing really well. Very happy to see the solo lane playing so well. 3-1 and 10 out of the solo lane Sobek.
Heart Ward Amulet as well as Sovereignty getting finished up, which is pretty much the standard here coming out of supports. But what's not standard is the Shoes of Magi coming out on Bacchus. This just means that Intoxicate's going to hurt for that much more. To Intoxicate is one of those abilities that you feel like you don't have to beads, but you want to beads, and you should beads, but you don't beads because you feel like you should. It's really weird, the mental game that it plays with your head. It's probably one of the most debilitating abilities we got.
It really does mess with you a little bit. It moves you. And as I mentioned earlier, the Xbalanque combo is just too strong. You're going to have to beat that. Because as soon as that Xbalanque ultimate comes out, if you're intoxicated, you literally won't be able to avoid it. So, might have to beat that Intoxicate.
Madman Mark trying to poke down this Phoenix here. 25 minutes, 30 seconds in. Sobek shoving far left. He's going to have all those minions starting to push here on the Phoenix. Yeah, it's not something you see every day. Shadow Q throws out the belch. In comes the blink initiation from Jigs. Kraken hits as well. That's the dream. Down goes Madman Mark. They have to prioritize their next target. Best is going to absorb a couple tridents, but as you can tell, he's not phased at all. Hurwin trying to do the best he can. He's going to get knocked up. There's no follow-up from the team because they're all zoned out. Mace running away. Mask is trying to chase him down. They're looking at ShadowQ. Perfect impale to the pillar. Down he goes. And now Cognitive says, okay, guys, we took out 3. Let's do the thing.
Not just the perfect impale, certainly did get that one, but the perfect screens or body blocks. Him and his teammates surrounded ShadowQ, so that when that stun came up, the only way ShadowQ could get out of there was the belly flop, which was on cooldown. So completely surrounded him, couldn't move.
Right now, we need to see the wards get out from Cognitive Gaming. We just saw him have to check Gold Fury there. They have no timer on this. The only wards they have are all defensive. You can kind of see it. They have 2 by their back Harpies. They have 1 just a little bit ahead of that, and that's just because they don't have any advantage. Ooh. You'd like to see a couple of the wards come out to really help them out. Tier 2 tower getting ready to fall here. Mace trying to do it, but he's just really doing all the damage here to Chaac, which isn't going to really cut it here. Here comes Xbalanque ultimate, though, Dot. It looks like they're going to try to push forward.
They're going to go ahead and use that Xbalanque ultimate, as you said, and that will secure the kill with the Isis. I'll note on that Xbalanque kill in a second. So that ultimate came out, and one of the more underutilized portions of that ultimate being used to the fullest extent it can be by Madman Mark. When you use that ultimate, not only does it do the stun with the lights turning out and the countdown, but it extends your basic attack range by almost double. Madman Mark was too far away, uses the ult, gets that long-range poke, gets the kill for his Isis. Great play.
The pluck barely going to miss. Jig, Blink Cataclysm right onto the best. Follow-up, though. Jigs, his health is gone. He caught 2 328 crits to the face. Meerkat trying to stay alive here. ShadowQ forced him out. Madman Mark on the Phoenix. The priorities are there. They're now just going to clear out the wave. They're going to turn and probably push this left Phoenix as well. Eyes on the best and ShadowQ trying to do everything they can. Those are the guys who are going to be initiating here. Cognitive Gaming, they have to have an answer or else they don't want to find themselves down 0-1.
Look at the adjustment that Denial's made. Last time they came and they sieged the mid tower, they tried to fight Cognitive Gaming. Cog turned it around. And really, they killed ShadowQ and really forced Denial out of the situation. So what did the Denial do on the secondary siege? They come and they zone. Sobek goes and dashes forward, forcing Cog off. They take that tower, all, as you said, priorities towards that tower. Left-hand side, Xing walls off the opponent. Again, focusing on that tower. They learn that they can't fight. They say, fine, we're going to zone you out and take your objectives anyway. 2 Phoenixes go the way of Denial. Great adjustment.
30 seconds until Fire Giant's going to be coming up. Sobek is in position already. We can see that the rest of the members of the Denial aren't really there. We're going to see everyone kind of get their respected buffs here, which is going to be Xbalanque as well as Isis, getting the purple and the red. Xing's going to head back there, finish off an item, as that's Transcendence done, as well as Spirit Robe, which will help him a lot with the CDR. And now we are going to wait for this next engagement, really. I mean, what can Cognitive do to take this besides just steal it?
It's win the team fights, and they've been showing that they can do that. Mask has really been the initiator that his team needs. We talked about that, how Chaac is going to look to initiate. He does X amount of damage. It's not 100%, but he'll be able to silence a bunch of people and really shut them down. As long as Chaac gets in there and does the work, and Denial doesn't zone them out too much with Thor walls and Mace to the Face ultimates, this is really just a game that Cog has to outplay him.
I think they saw him back. I'm pretty sure they just watched... Yeah. 2 members back. This is a free Fire Giant. Yep.
That's exactly what happened. They had the vision, as you said. They saw their opponents backed, and, well, when you're all the way home, you can't play defense. So free Fire Giant goes to Denial. Good heads-up awareness, being able to use their vision to their advantage, and Cognitive Gaming, a costly, costly time to back, and that gives Denial the Fire Giant, which they're only paying attention to these Phoenixes. It's just gonna make these objectives go down even faster.
Well, we need Jigs here. Jigs is going to be the player. And the beads will come out of Meerkat. Meerkat, they know, at least beads are down on 1 person already. But Jigs, the Blink Cataclysms have been perfect. He's given Poseidon every chance he can to do everything he can. So now they're on to the Phoenix. Stun comes down as well. Xing taken to the sky. Looking to come crashing down. He sees Meerkat. Down he goes. Up she goes. Wow. Down she goes. Kraken's going to do some, but not a bunch. And now they're going to push forward. Meerkat still alive. Makes it to the fountain. And now we're going to see another kill happen as well coming out of Xing.
Just so much aggression coming out right here from Denial Esports. 5 members still alive. Cognitive Gaming only has 3. Will it be enough to play defense? That Titan is about dead. So the answer is no. Game 1 goes to Denial Esports after 30 minutes of competition. Not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. Denial feels good.
Yep, and the big thing here is that this is pretty much what we see every single week from Cognitive Gaming. Great early game, always contest objectives perfectly. They do an amazing job with that. But team fights, they did okay. They've done a little bit better, but Denial, I mean, Denial didn't get what they normally do. Normally we see Denial kind of, you know, get the cheesy invade and get that first blood, but that didn't happen here. As we take a look at this one, this wasn't an invade. This was just calculation. You can see everyone all grouped up. Great job here coming out of Denial. They were able to live as well. So all things told, Denial, they didn't get their usual trick, but still did okay.
Yeah, I mean, Denial still did very well, and I think the turning point right here, very obviously, is that Fire Giant that Cognitive decided to back. Cognitive was playing great defense against a team that had a big gold lead against them. Really, you mentioned they didn't win the team fights. They didn't win the aggressive team fights, but they won a lot of the defensive ones. So because of that, that got them in a position, and the map control really split down the board.
That's it. The only big thing that sticks out to me is the fact that 3 Fire Giants went to Denial. Now, there was that one instance where Cognitive Gaming, they took the Gold Fury early on, but they all got wiped. So because of that, we saw a 12-minute and 30-second Fire Giant, which is probably the fastest of SPL spring split for sure. Maybe ever. I don't know if we've ever seen a 12:30.
I mean, it spawns at 10 minutes, so there's really not that much room for error. Worth noting, though, if you didn't catch the whole game, only 3 members survived that attempt. So they did get the Fire Giant, but they lost 2 of their members as well. So a little bit of a gamble for Denial, but they go ahead and they take the second one. And a lot of help comes from the Hunter role. Madman Mark, your player of the game.
Yeah, Madman Mark doing everything he can. Xbalanque was good. Xbalanque still seems to be very, very good. You can just see the positioning. When you get an early kill on Xbalanque, you just feel the rhythm. And we saw him get an early kill, and his team was there as well.
It's that AoE damage.
This is just a guaranteed triple kill here. He just turns around and then whoop! It's just one after another. Just great plays out of Madman Mark. Hunter's hard, man. Hunter hard.
The poison, he maximizes the poison a lot of the times. There he only hits the gap.
Wow, do you see how fast that beads was? You see how fast he beads? That is a hell of a player. But look at him just switch. And really, when you're a Hunter player at a professional team, you have to listen to callouts more than you really think. Yeah. You're really just listening to who your support's on, where the most damage is going to be going out on, and you're just reacting that entire time. So salute to Madman Mark.
Definitely want to be able to pick your targets. But if you want to get involved in the conversation along with Scott and I, go ahead and tweet us at SmitePro. Let us know who you think is going to take this one. Denial took game 1. Can Cog bring it to a game 3? That's up to you to decide. Let us know at SmitePro. Use the hashtag SPL and tell us how you're feeling.
Yep, and we'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Stay tuned.
you when you're falling. I stand here just like a soldier, right?